Hello YouTubers, I'm Angela Logan and this is Everyday Shenanigans. It is Saturday, November 30th, 2019. Warm greetings from the High 10. Hope you all are safe out there shopping and celebrating the holidays, and I hope everyone had a wonderful Thanksgiving. For those of you who celebrate Thanksgiving, I would like to talk to you all about Mr. Ibraheem Yazeed. There are some things that have been on my mind about him, and if you've just watched the previous video, there is a missing young lady in Montgomery, Alabama by the name of Lakira Goldsmith, aka Pig. And I brought you that video because I thought that was pertinent information about this young lady because she didn't get the national attention. And I don't know if there's a connection between her disappearance and Mr. Yazeed, if he has anything to do with it. As I stated in the video previous, the baby mother says that he was incarcerated at the time of her disappearance, which was last November. But what I want to talk about is the fact that he is free. I don't understand why a judge would have freed him on a bond, any bond. He was freed on a combined bond of $285,000. I'd like to know why the judge did that. I'd like to know why he got freed out in Missouri, Kansas, okay, for the previous charge. 8 months stint, they let him go just because he sat in jail waiting for a said crime. Then comes back to Alabama to exact a crime against the two gentlemen in the hotel, okay? The elderly man that was 77 years of age and the 40-year-old that he robbed at gunpoint, beat this man severely, almost to death. He was facing a attempted murder charge in that gentleman's case, which led to this new case of kidnapping and murder of Anaya Blanchard of Auburn, Alabama. So you see, the system has failed many people, because you as a citizen should care about these people walking around, because you could be their next victim. And unfortunately, Miss Anaya Blanchard was Mr. Yazeed's next victim after the two men in the hotel. And who knows what he has done since January of this year up until Miss Anaya Blanchard went missing in October of this year. You see, I got a funky feeling he's been a busy bee since January. I think he has been involved in other crimes. I think he has killed other people because he had no problem discarding that young lady, Miss Blanchard, off. And mind you, he was out on bond for attempted murder and had that said man in his car unconscious, flying down the highway, and got pulled over because somebody spoke up and called the law and said a car was driving erratic. He got pulled over, and that elderly man was found in that car. Now, mind you, how many people were in the car? 5? Because it was 3 who exacted the crime of the robbery at the hotel. Mr. Yazeed, a white female, and a black male. 2 people beat up 77-year-old, 40-year-old man. I'm assuming they all were in the car. 5 people at least, let's say. I'm not for sure, because the article never stated it when I was reading it a month or so ago, when all this mess came about and he became a suspect in Anaya's kidnapping and now murder. But you see how foul the system is. You let this thing free to harm this young lady, and he was already out on bond for attempted murder of an elderly gentleman and his friend at a hotel, and damn near beat to sleep, found unconscious in the same car with this creep. So where was he getting ready to take that elderly man? Any ideas? Yeah, you see where I'm going with this? He was getting ready to dump that man. And so my mind got to wandering the other day when I was with a friend. She was dropping me off at home the other night and we were out about. Something was, that heavy feeling you get when you're talking about something and you know something ain't right, and you know there's still a missing link in the chain. You know there's still something ain't right. And I got that sinking, sick feeling. Bro done this before. You see, he's done this before. Because who would go and kidnap somebody and kill them and dump them off in the woods when they're out on bond for attempted murder for doing the same thing, except he didn't kill that guy because he got caught? And as the sheriff said, if we hadn't stopped that car, he would have gotten away with it, him and his cohorts. You see where I'm going with this, people? This man ain't just started kidnapping and dumping people. Only a fool would have gone out here and kidnapped another human being and killed them and discarded them as trash, knowing they are already out on bond for the same said crime. In another case, this man is wicked. And the way he looked in that courtroom down in Florida, acting like he didn't know where he was, like he just woke up out of slumber in somebody else's house, looking around, talking crazy. And I was fortunate enough to see the footage of what he actually said when he was in that courtroom. A young man has a YouTube channel. A white gentleman has a YouTube channel. Young guy. I can't remember his name. But I saw the footage he had on his channel the other night. And I got to hear what Mr. Yazeed said while he was in that courtroom. And check this out. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted. Come again? You disgusted? How the hell you disgusted? You done kidnapped and threw that girl out like trash. Did the same thing to 2 other people back in January of this year. But you disgusted. Well, guess what, bruh? Anaya Blanchard is disgusted. Her parents and family members in the community of Auburn, Alabama are disgusted. We as civilians in America who have a heart and a soul, we are also disgusted. We are disgusted that you have air in your lungs. We are disgusted that 2 people laid down and spawned you. 2 creatures laid down and gave birth. One gave birth to you. The other supplied the other component to make you. And maybe they had no idea what they had brought into the world. But the rest of us know what you about and what you're made of. And those who ride the ride with Mr. Yazeed. I'm talking about all of you. Baby mama friends, home dogs, road dogs, brother, sister. I'm talking about you because I don't care nothing about you either. If you decide that you want to be in cahoots and ride the ride and put money on the books and visit and all that old type of stupid stuff. Why should something bad have to happen to you, your family, your friends for you to understand what empathy is? You are such an empty vessel as well that you think it's okay for him to keep running around here, robbing people, kidnapping, beating them up till they're almost dead. And now he has killed this girl. And you think it's okay. You knew what he was made of when you hung with him. When you went to see him in the jail, when you put money on the books, when you went to bond him out. Oh yeah, who was the lucky person or persons that bonded Mr. Yazeed out on the attempted murder charge of the elderly man? I'll wait. How could you? How could you bond that thing out? He wasn't stealing socks at Walmart. Not stealing formula to feed a baby. You understand what I'm saying? Stealing food to feed himself because he was hungry, destitute, or homeless. Which we know stealing is a crime and it's wrong, but people steal for various reasons. We know that you're not one of those type of people. Because I'm trying to figure out, how is a man without a job come up with that kind of money to bond out? Who posted the bond? Why did you post the bond? Why would you put your name on a said bond? 2, mind you, 2 combined bonds. And the stupid, silly magistrate judge who went along with this shenanigans and buffoonery, you need your tail beat too. Yeah, I'm bringing it all out to you because there's something funky going on in Alabama. And as I stated, the world is cruel. People commit crimes everywhere. I ain't no dummy. But right now I'm talking about Alabama. I'm talking about this fool in Montgomery. I'm talking about a young lady who is no longer living. I'm talking about another young lady by the name of Miss Goldsmith who may be connected. I don't know for sure. But I'm tying it all in because I think this fool has killed before. I think he has dumped others before, because you don't wake up one day and start kidnapping and bum rushing people in hotels and kicking in doors if you ain't been doing it. And that young man is not that old. So his record goes back to about, what, 2011? First post I saw of him, news feed of his criminal background. So you count the fact that we're in 2019, that was 8 years ago. He's in his late 20s, so he's had an early run with robbing people. Okay? And see, he knew what to do this time if he hadn't done it already. I'm not about to get caught. I'm not about to have anybody testify and say they saw me do anything, that I pushed them, shoved them, beat them, robbed them. I'll kill him. Because as they say, a dead man don't tell no tales. But in this case, it was a deceased young lady. You all better wake up out here. These people are grimy out here and they don't care nothing about you. And as you see, as I said in my previous videos, instead of you now looking for one boogeyman, you got to look for 3 or more, because they're now ride or die fans. How is he getting these people to go along with him? How is he getting these people to aid him? Post bonds. Go along. Dispose of evidence. Hinder prosecution. Apprehension. You see, it takes a certain type of a person, a certain caliber of a person to get people to go along with said crimes that are illegal. I think we all know that. Are these people that weak-minded? Because what are they benefiting from helping Mr. Yazeed? And others too who out here do heinous crimes such as kidnapping, murder, and robbery. What do they say to the person? Oh, I'll cut you in. I'll give you this. Well, you wouldn't know that because you don't know what the person has. You're not going to know until you rob them. So imagine trying to split something 3 ways. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. Mr. Yazeed, you are right where you should be. And that judge who let you out in Montgomery, Alabama, he needs to sit alongside you. I don't know if it's a female. If it's a she deserves to be in there with you. And all your cohorts, they deserve to be in there with you. And anybody who had knowledge of you robbing these people and beating them up or murder, they deserve to be in there with you. You see, America, these folks are grimy out here. And Alabama got something stinking down there. And I don't know why all these stories keep coming up from Alabama. And I don't know why there seems to be a connection with some of these people knowing of another person involved in another crime and case that I've discussed. I don't bring it to you because I just don't want to be involved in the foolishness. Until I get something concrete, I won't mention something that happened in another case, even if somebody is linked to this case with Miss Blanchard's. I didn't bring it to you because I didn't want to go there. I've been in the Billy's Beast fooling with that mess in Birmingham, and that case stunk and still stinks to me. Just like this case with Mr. Yazeed. And going into Facebook and seeing all the posts and baby mama's posts and other side pieces and side friends and cousins and all of those shenanigans, I'm not impressed with none of that. Because see, I've never been impressed with the street. Because see, I know it's a heavy price to pay when you live a street lifestyle. See, some of you down with that because you think it's cute, you think it's funny. But see, all that stuff you see on TV, like videos, some of them guys still got that same old messed up mentality. But they also got that paper and that money. And they don't have to resort to living like that. Unless they choose to. And some will. Because they still ignorant. But the point is, they're over there making money. You ain't. So you want to get jiggy and get down with all that robbing folks and holding people hostage and all type of craziness. But what's the end result? Because you see, you're going to mess around and you'll end up like Mr. Yazeed. Or worse, you'll end up dead. Because I'm really surprised that Mr. Yazeed is alive, quite frankly. But see, I have noticed something about the South. For those of you who don't live in the South and don't know how these people roll down here, these people will let you walk by them and then rob them. Oh yes, they will. Because see, they don't want to go to jail for killing them. So they let them walk by knowing they've broken their house, stole their car, held them at gunpoint at some point, pushed in the door of their house, their business. They know. Because as they say, some things the street talk about is the truth. It ain't no lie and it ain't gossip. And there's people down there that know how this Negro roll. They know he's foul and he's funky. And they know the people that ride with him, they funky too. And they ignorant. And they're bottom feeders. And Mr. Yazeed, I'm praying that the kind people of Alabama will give you just what you've been looking for. A needle straight to the vein. Because you deserve every dose, every ounce. And whoever else was in cahoots with you and had knowledge that you went deliberately to enforce that child in that car, and whatever you did thereafter, if they have said knowledge of the before and the after, they deserve to get the needle too. That's how I feel about it. But what's baffling to me is, as I stated, I think he has done this before, because you just don't wake up one day and start kidnapping people and then killing them. You've done this before, and that's the eerie gut feeling I got the other week. It just came to me. I said, he's done this before. He just has not gotten caught. And I'm going to read you something that was on a Facebook post that somebody sent to me today, and it reads as follows. The person's name has been blanked out where you can't see it. But this young lady, Tiffany Black Jones, had asked a question. I guess she's the one who's giving the confirmation and information to whomever. She's saying he cooperated fully, gave them $11,000. Him and that girl he was arrested with back in February held him for 3 days in a hotel room. He told him when he kidnapped him that if he did what he said, he would let him go, and if he didn't, he'd throw him in the Alabama River with the others. Tragically, my brother passed away in a car wreck in April. So this was Tiffany Black Jones commenting on a social media page, and a comment was made. Ibraheem Yazeed, he kidnapped my brother back in December. So I'll try to make sure I was repeating that correctly. Who was doing the talking in that feed? Okay. Yes. This Tiffany Black Jones was giving commentary. Obviously, she was the one talking to the person underneath. The person underneath, their name was blanked out. But either way, this was a post on Facebook. Now, this is talking about somebody in a hotel room that he has kidnapped. And they basically said he cooperated fully, gave them $11,000, him and that girl he was arrested with back in February, and held him there for 3 days in a hotel room. So I'm wondering if this is the same case with the 77-year-old man and the 40-year-old, because if it is not the same case, then that means Mr. Yazeed has done this to somebody else back in the winter. Do you all see where I'm going with this? This thing is a spawn of the devil, Satan himself. And he don't care about nobody. And he didn't care nothing about this person that this young lady's talking about. He didn't care anything about those people in the hotel, if it is the same people or not. He didn't care anything about Anaya Blanchard. And I'm praying he doesn't have anything to do with Miss Goldsmith's disappearance. Miss Lakira, a.k.a. Pig. Now, as I stated, I don't have verification if it is true or not. But I'm bringing you this information because it needs to be talked about. It needs to be out there. And this is what I hate about Facebook, is because, you don't want to judge everything of any case or information on Facebook, but it is a public information platform. And I don't know why people get so jiggy and upset about what is being said on Facebook, because one thing you always have to remember is that it has been given to people to use to how they see fit. It may not be in the ways I agree with or others, but it is out there. And people talk. And a lot of these people are walkie-talkies. And they get on there and they vent and they go off and they uphold and take up for other people, when really they should be quiet and shut their damn mouth. Because you see, you look like a fool if you go on social media defending somebody who's out here robbing and kidnapping people and murdering them. You're a damn fool. And you deserve to be locked up with your friends. Baby daddy, boyfriend, husband, whoever. I don't care. Because you should have empathy. You should have a heart. You should have a soul. Nobody should have to say, well, if it happened to you, oh, if it's your mama, your brother, your sister, your baby, why should somebody have to say that to you? And you see Mr. Yazeed, he doesn't care about anybody. Rest record long. He doesn't care about anybody. He's probably been doing this for years. Because like I said, he's a young man. He's obviously had an early run doing this type of behavior, these crimes. And now he's finally behind bars where he belongs. And I don't see him coming out of the jail in Auburn unless somebody breaks him out of there. Or he knows magic. This is baffling to me, this case. And as I stated to you, the Facebook posts and feeds pertaining to him and other people who were associated with him, baby mamas and all of those shenanigans, and it's sickening to me. It is outright sickening that that thing was free on bond when he snatched Miss Blanchard up and murdered her and dumped her like trash out there in those woods. And I got a feeling he has done this before. He just has not been caught. And the fact that this post states that he said that to whomever was in that hotel room, that he'll dump him like he did the others if he doesn't give him what he wants. I believe there's some truth to that. I believe there's some truth to that. And I believe everything that the article stated about the 77-year-old, that that man was near death when they found him in that car. And they only found it because somebody called the law that the car was driving erratically. And Mr. Yazeed was behind the wheel with a almost dead man in his car. And we now know, if you all aren't asleep, that he was going to dump that man like how he did Miss Blanchard. You all got to stay woke out here. You got to be careful the people you hang with, the people you talk with, because you don't know people. And the way he played crazy in that courtroom, like he didn't know how he got there. Bro, you know how you got there because you stay in court. You stay in jail. Come on now. Stop playing. He's a chameleon. And what bothers me the most about this case, and so many other cases, Mr. Yazeed is a chameleon, a narcissist, a sociopath, and he has a way with people, and that means he has a way with words. And what is it that he is saying to these people out here to get them to go along with his crimes, these women to lay with him and bed him? Because if you heard the way he talked in that courtroom in Florida, I'm disgusted. He sounded like somebody who, didn't know how they got to jail, didn't know how they got arrested, just utterly stunned. So I thought about it. If he talks like that in that court, that's how he talks to these people in the street. He comes across as this nice guy who just so happens to be the stick-up guy that'll rob you on sight. Because he's got split personalities. He's sick and he's evil. And if you saw him one day at the Walmart, he probably would be the type to say, "Hey, I'll help you push your buggy out. You need some help? I don't mind." And just as soon as he gets you to that car, he gonna pull a gun out and beat you to death. That's who Ibraheem Yazeed is. Probably speaks mild-mannered. Probably seems, in first appearance, like he alright. Yeah, he alright. He's locked up is what he is. And like I said, whoever else went down for the count went with him. You deserve to be in there with him. As I stated, I got that sinking feeling he has done this before. This ain't his first rodeo. And I'm praying that there are no other bodies out there, but I just got that funky feeling that he has done this before. And some of you alluded to the fact that some other person's remains may have been out there where Miss Anaya's. I don't know. I've heard nothing about that. So I can't attest to that. But I do believe Mr. Yazeed has murdered before. It's just a feeling that I have. And one thing we do know for sure is that he has robbed other people. Kidnapped and robbed other people. And I don't know the state of that elderly man. And it sickens me because that man's almost 80 years of age. And imagine to live that many years in life. To be beaten almost to death over your worldly goods. And then fast forward, he exacts the same crime to a young lady who was minding her business and snuffs her out and discards of her in the woods off an interstate. It's disturbing. Utterly disturbing. And he makes my stomach turn. He makes me sick. And anybody that thinks he should be free and want to ride or die with him, want to put money on the books, want to visit, I tell you what. You go tell the bailiff, you go tell the sheriff, you go tell the chief you want to sit in there with your friend. Because frankly, I think you belong in there with him if you want to be in cahoots with him. Knowing he had a criminal history as long as my leg and he was walking around free. See, some of you are no different than Mr. Yazeed. Because see, you want to ride or die with that kind, that means you're just like him. So I think you deserve to be in there with him. I am Angela Logan, and this is Everyday Shenanigans. Bye-bye.